guys, Zaapi AI chatbot. What it can do, what the ins and outs look like. This is the video for you. Let me just show you basically the outcome, right? Or basically the finished product. Here is a Lazada store. Of course, the bot works with Shopee, TikTok Shop, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, you name it. But I'm using Lazada as an example. So here I'm talking to my own test store here. I just ordered a dress. Is it ready to ship? Right? The store, or basically the bot that I set up, answered, "Hey, we've got your order, right? Your payments and everything is good. We'll handle it." And then I was like, okay, cool. Got that. I want to buy something else, right? Okay, cool. Can I have waterproof jacket, right? Well, the bot recommends me hey, this one is waterproof. And then it gives me a link to the product page, within Lazada itself, right? And then it does ask like, hey, you know what? Can I help you with something else? Just like a human being, right? Is there any other jackets that are waterproof, right? So it can also list down and compare, different products, right? Within your catalog here, right? So here it says like, hey, this one is waterproof. This one is only splash proof, right? Yeah. When can I expect my dress? It can tell you basically the policy and the status of the order, right? Where's your brand from? Can I talk to you if I want to ask for a refund, for example? Okay, that now it can tell you basically the origin of the brand, right? And yeah, with the refund question, right? It can also handle that, right? So here it basically says that, hey, you know what? With regards to the refund, right? It's a two-part question, so it's a two-part answer. With regards to refund, if you can confirm these things, we'll pass you to a human being, right? And then here, there's a message that now it has been passed to a human being. The agent will be right there with you, right? So this is the kind of interaction, right, that our AI chatbot can interact with your customer, right, on all the channels, right? So now that's the output, right? That's what it can do, right? How do you set that up, right? What do you need to get that set up? Let me just show you. All right. First of all, there's three components to building an AI chatbot. So one is the knowledge source. This is what it knows, right? So this is what knowledge it has. So here, this is like a full knowledge base, right, or knowledge source. However, I kind of distinguish it to different channels, right? This group here is the same knowledge base grouped through all the social media and the chat platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. But the e-commerce platform, the e-commerce marketplaces, I separated. Why, right? Because most of these knowledge bases are identical, but for example, the link to the product page, you don't want to mix up. So you don't want to mix up, like if someone kind of message you on Shopee, you don't want to give Lazada a link. You'll be in big trouble for that, right? And also delivery policy. If someone orders stuff from TikTok Shop, you don't want it to be like, hey, Lazada Express will be delivering this. So you don't want to mix the two because one, it's not nice for the customer, and two, you get in trouble with these platforms very, very quickly. However, with the messaging and social platforms like Facebook and such, they don't really care, right? So that's why even though the knowledge base is almost identical, some of the stuff, especially for the e-commerce marketplaces, has to be separated. However, let me show you what knowledge base looks like. A lot of people think that, oh, it's a bunch of lines of codes. No, it's not, right? Here, this is the knowledge base that created the bot that I just showed you in the beginning of the video. Two components within the knowledge source itself. One is the Q&A, right? So Q&A here is basically company profile, simple stuff, right? Simple stuff that people ask every day. Company profile, channels, where can I purchase your product, right? So here it gives like, hey, we have our own website, we have our Lazada shop, we have a Shopee shop. This is the one that is linked to all the social media and the chat app. So you can just give whatever links you want. For example, if this is a Lazada or Shopee or TikTok shop specific one, you do not want to give these. You just want to give one, right? Which is the platform that is native to the bot you connect to itself. Also, chipping, exchange policy, the basics, right? The basics. And then what you have next is, this is an Excel file, that I uploaded here. This is the product list, and this is what it looks like, right? This is where it gets all the jackets, that we asked earlier, right? There's 2 jackets. You can see which one is waterproof, which one is not, obviously, right? So all your SKUs goes in here. The URL that you wanted to send, and yeah, URL is quite important because that's your point of sales, right? Make sure you don't mix up the URL. If it's a Lazada knowledge base, make sure this is a Lazada product page. Same with the other channels itself. So as you can see here, super simple. There is a simple document on FAQ and then a product list. With only of these 2, the bot can go, as I showed you earlier, back and forth, giving information, right? For pretty complex question, right? Okay. Now that the bot knows, your product and your company, SOP, right? You go to scenario handling here. This is where you write SOP for the bot, what to do, what not to do, right? So for example, here I have this SOP where it says, right, every time someone asks for a product, right, just list everything in the category. Always provide pricing. Always provide a URL, right? So these are the SOP that you want the bot to follow. And lastly is the personality. So personality is something like, hey, you're a female agent who sells trendy, just tell the bot who she is, right? Be friendly and charming. Use emoji and appear friendly, as you can see. The bot did use a few emojis. You can say that, hey, don't use emoji as well, right? Answer concisely in bullet points, and that's exactly what it did, right? So that's exactly how I showed you. So after you got these 3 handled, right? The knowledge source is the part where you want to work on it the most, because that's where, what the bot knows. The 2 tricks. 1, only give it what it needs to know. Don't give it too much. Don't give it too little, right? So if you have like a user manual that is like 1,000-page long, let's not shove it all in there because it might get confused. Just choose what it needs to know to be a good customer service or a sales agent, right? Second, use AI. Not Zaapi AI, but like if you have a catalog or you have an already existing document, just throw it into ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you're using, right? And say, hey, can you write a knowledge source for AI with these documents, right? It will come back with an FAQ form, right? With the form that is very, very AI friendly, right? So you do not have to write everything from scratch. So that's the 2 tips. Scenarios, you kind of have to write it from scratch. But as you can see, it's very simple. It's just like step 1, step 2, step 3. Personality, of course, you write it from scratch. You can play around with it. This is pretty fun to play around as well. Before you launch, you test it, right? So you can test it without having to connect to a real customer. So you can just test it here, like, hello, what do you sell, right? Where is your brand from, for example, just to make sure that it kind of knows, it pulls from the knowledge base and it kind of knows who, it has the right personality. So you would want to do this before implementing it or deploying it to the end user, right? Okay. So let's wait here for it to answer. There we go. Okay. All right. So yeah. Hi, what do you sell? Obviously it does list all the things, right? Because the SOP says so. It lists all the things. It has all the pricing. And it always asks like, what do you need next? As per its SOP, right? So that is, it also tells you where the brand is from. So here it tested. Okay. It can answer complex question. It does follow SOP. Okay. The SOP says a little bit of emoji. This is a little bit of emoji, I suppose. If you don't like it, you can always go back to the personality and say, okay, less emoji, right? You tested it. The next one is to deploy, right? So to deploy, you go down here, you build a flow, right? You build a flow and then you put AI in the flow, right? What does that look like? So here, right? When a message is received for any channel, you can always like, include and exclude whatever channels. The flow, this has nothing to do with AI. This is a working flow, right? A word process, basically. Now, the flow would be like, okay, is this customer, have you talked to this person before for the past 3 months? If it's a new customer, which means like, okay, I've never spoken to this person before, then it's welcome, right? If we have spoken to this person before, then is welcome back, for example. And then the AI you just created gets shoved in the middle of the flow. So this is a greeting message segmented by the kind of user that comes in, right? You can play around with this flow, but this is like a simple, very, very simple flow that it's easy to understand as an example, right? If it's a new customer, you throw it to the AI, it's the same AI, right? If the AI can handle everything, then you close the ticket. It's all done. No human needed. If the AI cannot, send it to the sales team. Why the sales team? Because it's a new customer, right? And then tag it as a new customer and then give it to the sales agent, right? So this is how, and yeah, likewise, if it's a returning customer, you say welcome back, and then the same AI handles it back and forth, back and forth. If it fails to do so, or if a person asks for an agent, it goes to customer support team. Why customer support team? Because it's an old customer, returning customer, right? And then you tag it as CS, so like customer service, and then customer service agent has been assigned. So this is what a flow of agents and AI looks like, right? In a workflow. So this is how you would deploy it. You deploy it, the AI in the middle or in the front. Like some people, hey, you know what? Let the AI handle be the front line. So if you say hi, you get the AI right away. You can also do that. You can also have a little filter in the front, right? That's totally up to you. You can also have even more filter before you put on the AI. That is different from business to business, case by case. But this is an example of how flow, AI and human work together, right? As an end result, as you can see, this is the same conversation as before, right? You would have like, hey, you know what? Is my ready to ship? You can see here, the AI can also see what we see here, which is like you have a pending order. Pending means you have already paid and it's, pending to be delivered. So the AI reads this, it answers. So this is answered by AI, right? Okay, waterproof jacket. The AI does what it does. And the conversation goes on. This is the same conversation, right? What's another cool thing is that sometimes the AI wouldn't, if it gets the answer wrong or it doesn't answer the way you want it to, you can also press show thinking here. And this actually the AI would tell you like, hey, you know what, how I came out with this answer, right? So you can actually, okay, this is what confuses the bot, right? And the handover, as you can see, right, as this person, ask for a refund. We have a scenario. We have a scenario here, right? If a customer asks for a refund, then escalate to a human agent, right? So that's exactly what it did here during the handover, right? So like, hey, where's your brand from? And then, hey, can I talk to you and ask for a refund, right? So, it does tell you where the brand is from. And then, it also says like, hey, you know what? I will escalate you to a human agent. And then it escalated to a human agent. The agent has been assigned. So as you can see here, this is no longer owned by the AI, but it's owned by this particular agent. We have an automation that says like, hey, an agent has been assigned, right? You can also go back and see the automation here, right? Like, hey, this agent has been assigned, right? So that is how you set it up, right? So yeah, in this video, I've shown you how it looks like in the front, how the the backbone of the AI, right? 3 things: knowledge base, scenario, personality. You put it into your workflow, and then what comes out is actually, a pretty good conversation between a customer and AI that can be hand over to your agent in the right team. And it also tags as well, right? That this is a new customer. Most of it is handled without a human interaction, right? I mean, when this agent, this person wakes up, or when this person gets into shift, obviously she would jump in. But as you can see, this is the level of information, the level of complexity of the case that the AI can solve with just very, very simple knowledge base, very, very simple flow, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for the quick walkthrough of our Zaapi AI chatbot. Thank you very much.